So Rubén and Luba, thank you for coming on the show. It's a great pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet? Because you met on the Cape, man.
Yeah, we did. I'm a Broadway actress. That's how I started in my career.
I am not.
And he's not.
But you're an actor as well, come on.
Yeah, but not Broadway. She's
You know,
a Broadway
and we were doing this show, The
Theater.
Cape Man, Paul Simon's production. He did the music. And I remember auditioning for it, and somebody told me, oh, yeah, Rubén Blades is starring in this. And I was like, who's that? They were
It happens a lot.
They were a huge fan of his as an actor. And I was
Sure.
like, oh, really? Okay. So in rehearsal, I'm checking him out, and he's singing, and I'm going, wow, he sings pretty good for an actor. Just the gringa that I am. You know, I was like, I knew nothing
Which
about
is
this
also
guy's
true.
music history. But that's where we met. And I
Fell
don't
in
know,
love.
it happened pretty fast.
I was friends with Paul. I was friends with Paul for a long time, and
So that's how you knew Steve Gadd, who we've had on the show
yeah.
as well.
Well, yeah, but I knew Paul from, you know, I tell you a story. Paul, one day we were having dinner. I went to a place, a restaurant, and he was having dinner by himself. So I saw him, hey, Paul, and I sat down with him, and we started to talk. And we, as usual, we went into music, you know, and talking. And it was like 11:30 at night. We was talking, and he said, let's go to the house. Okay, I want you to listen to something.
This guy, this story.
And I said, okay. And I knew, okay, this is going to be a long night now. And I said, well, let me go home and get some records that I want you to listen to. So I went home and I got a whole bunch of Brazilian records, which I wanted him to listen to. And I got to the house. And he had this set there, you know, sound.
Sure. Hi-fi system.
Mm-hmm. And he took the guitar and he said, this is the album I'm working on. And I sat down like here, and he sat there, and he put on the tape, and he started to play, and he played me Graceland.
Whoa.
From top to bottom. He hadn't put the vocal yet.
Fantastic.
And I was listening and listening and listening. And when it finished, I said, he looked at me and I said, don't ever do that to me again. And he said, why? I said, what if I didn't like it? And I loved it. I thought it was just such a great record. But anyway, so the idea that I wanted to work with him many years ago when I did my first English and only English album, where I worked with Lou Reed and
Elvis Costello.
Elvis Costello and Paul,
Sting as well,
and
I think.
Sting, yeah. And I couldn't do it with Paul. So finally, when Paul and Derek Walcott, which was a Nobel Prize winner in literature, wrote Cape Man.
Wrote the book.
Wrote the book, and then Paul did the music, and it was Paul's idea about Salvador Negron, the story of this Puerto Rican kid who had become involved in gangs and had ended up killing 2 kids. And the whole musical was about redemption.
Sure.
And Paul called me, and I said, sure, and then that's how I ended up working and see him. And I remember the first time I saw Luba, which was, she was singing, and I hadn't seen her. And the moment I heard her, I thought this is a great, great artist. You know, the singing and what she was doing. And but that was it.
Oh my God.
But that was it. I didn't think of anything else, you know. And then things happen.
Things happen. Well, it's kind of, I've always had this theory, like it doesn't matter how rich, poor, stupid, intelligent, talented, untalented you are. There's only so few people in the world you really connect with. You know,
It
personally.
happened fast.
And it surprises you.
Unexpected, yeah.
It surprises.
It was so
Always a
unexpected.
surprise. Because I wasn't expecting at all. I wasn't looking for that at all.
A Panamanian salsa singer? Where was that in my
But it
cards?
wasn't, yeah. No, I didn't want to, you know, I was thinking about that, and boom.
So just sort of going back a little bit, so you grew up in Panama. You left when you were about
So I
20?
bring this so people say, who the hell is that guy?
So you left about, was it 26? I mean, I'm not sure of the timeline here. So
I left in, I mean, from Panama.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer by trade. You know, I studied law. I just left Panama because of the dictatorship.
Sure.
And I left in 74. So I went to the United States, and my family was there already. They had left a year before.
Had you been doing music in Panama?
Oh, yeah, but then the dean of the law school called me to his office and said, you're going to be a musician or a lawyer? And I said, oh my God. And I said, I'm going to be a lawyer. And he said, are you going to be a musician or a lawyer? And I said, I'm dead. And then I said, a lawyer. And he said, you can't be playing around. So I quit music.
Whoa.
So when I quit music, I was going to be a lawyer. I mean, I wasn't thinking about that I'm going to become a professional musician, an actor, at least an actor. So, but then this happened and my family was having a lot of trouble. My mother got a job, my father couldn't get a job, and then my two brothers and my sister. So I called Fania Records, which was a label in New York, Afro-Cuban music, salsa music. I had written a couple of songs when I was involved in music that other people had recorded, so I thought I had an in. And I called and I said, do you want a writer, singer? And he said, no. And I said, okay. And before I hung up, this is everybody, don't ever quit immediately. Always ask again. I asked again, I said, do you have any job there? And they said, I have a job in the mailroom of the company. And I said, what do you do there? And they told me what it was. I said, I can do that. So I said, how much they pay? They told me $125 a week. I said, I'll take it. And I took it and I went there. And that's where I was when Ray Barreto came over and somebody told him, like, that guy in the mailroom, he sings and he writes songs. And he went over to tell me that there was going to be an audition for his band.
Whoa.
And I thought, okay. And I went, but I still kept working in the mailroom because at the time he was paying less than the mailroom. So, you know, but that's how I started.
So that was your break, your proper first break.
Huh?
That was your proper first break.
You know where I had my first show in New York?
No.
I'm working in the mailroom. I do the audition. Barreto hires 2 singers. So in case somebody leaves, there's another one. I go to the first show in New York. I don't even have clothes. You know, I'm buying my clothes in thrift shops, and everything is too tight or too big. Yeah. So I picked whatever I could. My first show was in Madison Square Garden.
Get out of town.
You know what date? 26th of July, her birthday. I didn't even know her. I went over there, garden, opened the thing. I felt like the movie Gladiator when the guys come into the Coliseum.
Fantastic.
And I started to sing and I forgot the lyrics. And I made them up. I made them up and I thought I was going to get fired. That was my first show. 19,000 people. I'm like,
Or you just make it up. No.
you know, it's like a boxer. You get hit, you fall down, you get up, and, you know. The thing is to get up. Everybody's going to fall down. Just get up.
Yeah, it's resilience, isn't it? I mean, it sorts out the men from the boys.
Yeah,
you got to be tough, man. I mean, you don't come into this business, you know, if you can't take the knocks.
I saw her do it myself with her. She did a Broadway show that was a very tough show.
Yeah, and I couldn't even get an audition for it. It was Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway, and I had done a lot of comedy roles before that on Broadway, and they wouldn't see me because they said, we're looking for real singers. And
sure.
I mean, I was a classically trained singer. My sister was an opera singer. I'm a classically trained pianist. You know, music is what I grew up with. And, you know, I just kind of lucked into these comedic roles on Broadway, and I said, but I am a real singer. Long story short, I had worked with the musical director previously from that show, and I just sent him a note backstage. I said, I can't get an audition. And I said, you know, can you just get me in? Just give me a shot, you know? And I learned the score, the entire score of the show, and I went in. He got me the audition. Fantastic. And my agent calls me up the next morning. He's like, hey, Luba, guess what? I got you an audition. They called. And I was like, yeah, right.
Late in the day, mate.
And so, you know, audition, got the role. And,
good for you.
You know,
but
you just gotta persevere if you know you're right.
But it was a tough score.
Very tough score.
Because the singer, Eder,
Linda Eder, yeah.
her range was like Streisand range.
these songs were like Barbra Streisand songs.
Yeah, your voice reminds me a little bit of Barbra Streisand, if I'm being
She
honest.
was a big influence growing up, I have to say. Yeah.
Especially what was I listening to this morning? One of your earlier albums, it'll come to me. Crazy Love.
Crazy Love.
Love
yes.
that album.
It's a great record, great production on it, nice mix.
It was with Renato Neto. He was
Brazil.
keyboardist for Prince, he was. And we collaborated. We wrote the music for that album. We did all the music for
Renato
that.
played for Prince for a long time.
Yeah.
Prince had 2 keyboards, and Renato was one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, great record. Just to remind you guys to please remember to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss any new episodes. It means a lot to us. And you had Slovak. You've got Slovak parents?
Oh yeah, I was born in Queens, but my parents are from Slovakia.
Queens, New York.
Yeah, Queens, New York, and both my parents are from Slovakia, and they met in New York, but they were the type of parents or immigrants that did not want to assimilate per se in America. They really wanted to keep the culture within the family, and they brought us up speaking only Slovak in the home. I just grew up in this Slovak bubble like the first 7 years of my life. My cousins were living downstairs and they spoke Slovak, so they were my best friends. We had, holidays together, etc. So I really didn't even know English until really getting into kindergarten, into school. I have an older sister, so she spoke a bit. But so still till this day, I understand Slovak and still speak a little bit. I don't really.
Do you get back
much.
to Slovakia much?
Excuse me?
Do you get back to Slovakia much?
You know, I haven't. I've been there about 2 or 3 times, but now I'm on the board of directors for Music Beyond Borders in Slovakia. We're starting a new program there, I'm going to be bringing master classes to Slovakia later this summer, and I'm also doing it in Panama as well, these Broadway master classes that I'm starting there.
She knows everybody on Broadway. I mean, and the thing about knowledge, which is sometimes I speak a lot, but I like to share what I know. Maybe it'll help somebody. But that's the thing about knowledge. If you don't share knowledge, then what good is it?
Yeah, I agree.
You have to share it. So I think we're very happy in Panama to have this, because once you're known and respected in your field, you get to have access to people who can help other people and who would otherwise maybe not be available. So you can talk to them and say, would you please come to Panama and help us with this? And they'll say, oh, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what she can do and I can do.
And in Panama, the theater community there is really grown quite a bit. And they are also hungry for this kind of knowledge and influence. And Slovakia is still very, very young. It's a young country. So I'm hoping to kind of get the kids there on their feet with some confidence and just kind of put my 2 cents in and help them out.
Is a big thing. I think in the Eastern Bloc generally,
self-esteem.
I find that here because of like the Russian domination. There's historical reasons for all of it. There's a reason why things are the way they are. But you've also worked in the prisons in Panama as well.
I did. The First Lady of Panama had asked me to do a class. It was a therapeutic class for the women in prison there. And at the time I was doing Chicago on Broadway with Brooke Shields. And so what I did was I taught these female prisoners the first 32 bars of the dance of All That Jazz from the musical Chicago. And they were, I mean, and I don't speak fluent Spanish, but, through the language of dance, these women were just ecstatic. After we finished the session, they were just thrilled. It was very therapeutic, It
makes a difference also. I worked with people in jail when I was coming up as a lawyer. My thesis was on repeat criminals, so I spent a lot of time with them in jails, lived with them when the time was a penal colony called Coyoa. Wow. It was one of the few penal islands left. This is during the dictatorship time. It was not an easy time. But I found that a lot of people, first of all, you cannot rehabilitate what has never been habilitated.
Sure.
So you have to understand the situation, and you have to not commiserate, but try to understand and communicate as good as you can. And it's always, I was so happy when Luba did that because most people, we tend to give up on people, and we shouldn't.
Yeah.
We should try to give them the opportunity that we want. If it happened to us, we would like somebody to give us an opportunity. So, this is something that I think we should continue doing, helping especially people who are children, young people, and people who are who don't have the opportunity to do things and are not aware of what they have.
I can resonate with that. Like, I grew up in Finglas in Ireland. It was a very working class area. Nobody had any real expectations from you at all. You really had to dig deep to find inspiration and the fire in your belly to get where you wanted to get. And I think a lot of people got left behind. Like the middle classes is a lot easier. Mum and dad's telling them how wonderful they are and they go to great schools. But you live on the other side of the tracks, to build that confidence in is not so easy.
And you have to go. I went back to the neighborhood where I was born. When I went back to the neighborhood, most people are born in a neighborhood and then they want to get out of there. And they get out of there and they never go back because it's tough or whatever. I went back to the neighborhood. And it was very bad. When I was born there, it was a different neighborhood. When I went back, it was very bad. But I was working in politics at the time, so I figured, I'm going to live there. If I want to tell people there that we can change and we can do, I'm not going to do it from some penthouse. I'm going to get in there. So that's what you do. That's the other thing you got to do.
Get in the trenches.
You got to go to the trenches. You cannot send somebody to give you a report.
I also wanted to say I'm really happy to be here in Prague performing because when I had met Jan when he was doing his Carnegie Hall concert, we had a little conversation and I said, I haven't performed in Slovakia or in Prague or anywhere, and it was kind of a dream of mine. And I remember him just kind of looking at me and going, okay, we'll see. I think we can make this happen. And so here we are, and it just feels so good having grown up in such a cultural family life and upbringing to be kind of back here again in Eastern Europe. It's
in the motherland.
In the motherland.
We want to thank Jan for that because I personally can't believe that she being with Slovak background and being one of the few people, I guess, from Slovakia in one way or another that has been on Broadway.
Sure.
That she's not better known in Slovakia or that she's not doing more shows there. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I think that could change very, very quickly.
Hopefully.
Just going back to because your mum was Cuban and your dad was Colombian, so she was an artist as well, your mum, wasn't he? And your brother played as well, he was a musician.
All of them. My brother Luis.
So did you guys play at home much together?
No, my mother played piano, but we didn't have money for a piano. At first, we didn't have a place to put a piano. I mean, we lived, it was a very small place that we lived. And then later on, there was no piano in the house. But my mother didn't encourage music.
Really?
No, because it was very hard to live off the music.
Same with my parents,
thinking
too.
it's an impossible career.
Yeah,
Go to school,
immigrants.
Go to school, learn something.
Be a lawyer or a doctor or marry one. That's what I got.
So we weren't encouraged. Yeah.
Who knew?
So no, we weren't encouraged. They were happy. My mother was proud and my father was proud that I could sing on tune and but they were not encouraging at all.
So when you first went to Miami, when you left Panama.
74.
74, and then moved
to New York.
Did you get involved in any music in Miami?
No, because at the time I didn't have any papers.
Okay.
And it's so funny because I know Manuel Badrena, who's a Cuban, a drummer, who played with Weather Report. At the time, he was not yet with Weather Report. And this is before Peter Erskine, And he said, why don't we go to a boat? Let's get a job in one of those cruise ships, which I thought was a great idea, but you needed to have
papers,
a social security number, and I didn't. So no, I was in Florida doing nothing.
So you get to New York, 1974. So that's 1974. New York's a pretty tough town.
It was super tough. It was super. The area where I live, the one thing is you ate badly, but at reasonable price.
Oh, forget it now.
And you lived, I paid $100 a month. So you could still, I mean, that's impossible. Now, when I tell that to people, they faint. Or they get very upset with me.
Yeah, I lived in my parents' the apartment that my mother immigrated to, and it was also $100 a month.
Wow. Was that the rent control? Or
It was. Mine was rent controlled. It had the bathtub in the kitchen, and the toilet was in the hallway.
I've got still some friends who are living in rent control places.
Yeah.
They're getting rarer and rarer as time goes
They
on. 'Cause they
really
don't do
are.
it
Mine
anymore.
was a sublet from Leon Gast, who was a documentary guy. He actually ended up, it's so funny because you meet these people and everybody's struggling. Leon won an Oscar for a documentary he did on Ali and the fight with Foreman when they were kings. But in those days, he was doing documentaries for the Fania company. So he had this apartment on West 86th Street, and he sublet the apartment for $100.
Wow.
So I made ends meet. I sent money to my mother, and I paid my rent on time.
Was there a good club scene
Oh God!
at that
yeah.
time?
We had about in New York, Afro-Cuban clubs, salsa clubs. We must have had about 30
Wow.
Wow. In New York.
in New York City.
Fantastic.
In New York, in the whole New York area, it
Wow.
was you could play around. So and then every band was playing at the time, and something that happened at the time also was very special. Each band had its own sound. You could hear the band and you knew immediately who it was. Musicians didn't cross. You stayed in one. It's like a gang almost. Like you were here.
Sure.
The people that play with Tito Puente did not play with Tito Rodriguez. The people who play with Eddie Palmieri did not play with Ray Barreto. I mean, everybody had Pacheco, everybody had their own, Willie Colon, everybody had their own band. So, and then when we went to play, we went to compete with each other. So the quality of the playing was up here. And it was like this. And rock, punk, jazz.
It was all happening.
You walk out the street and you walk bumping Woody Shaw, Miles Davis, all those guys. Everybody seemed to live on the Upper West Side.
Yeah, I loved it. I only got there in the early 80s, but even that was great.
Yeah.
And I had a great time in the
Yeah.
80s in New York. Fantastic. It was like,
Yeah.
now, it's just rich people.
No, there's nothing now.
It really is.
It's just rich people, and it's lost all its charm for me. I mean, I
you
do
can
miss.
still find pockets.
Yeah, I
Lower
do
East
miss seeing
Side.
rats the size of dogs.
I don't miss
can
that.
still see those.
Joking. I used to
can
walk
still
down
see
the
those.
middle of the street when I was down the Lower East Side because I was the rats running out of the bins.
Yeah.
I'd walk
They
in the
own
middle of
that
the
area.
street. Sorry,
Yeah, they own that area. You guys, have you seen the one that?
Delancey Street.
But did you see the one with the rat that pulling a piece of
Bread.
pizza?
Oh, pizza, yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen it, no.
A big slice of pizza that
a
just
rat with a
dragging.
broad daylight pulling the rat. He's coming down the stairs of the subway.
You got to respect them, man. They're hardcore.
Nobody mess.
Hardcore,
You know
that's
what?
what they are. Yeah.
Nobody mess with it. Everybody
mess with the rats,
look at
man.
them. He's taking pictures.
Yeah.
So I think, like anywhere, and I've said this many times on the podcast, but like great art comes out of struggle, and I think that's why at the time it was the place. It's like when places become so gentrified, like New York, is there's no artist really coming out of New York anymore.
You don't have money to
I don't
stay.
think so.
It's only it's the struggling artists make the best music, and at that time there was a lot of artists living cheaply in New York.
Basquiat lived in Tompkins Square inside of I heard, I never saw him, but I heard, and I'm not surprised if it's true, inside of a carton of Frigidaire refrigerator. Basquiat.
Yeah, incredible.
Well, a
One
lot
the
of
great-
people living down in Tribeca before it was ritzy Tribeca. I mean, there were these factories down there. I mean, Warhol even had all those.
It looked like
that
Vampire
space.
Land. You went there at 5 o'clock, there was nobody in the
Yeah.
street.
Well, it was Taxi Driver.
Everybody's
Wasn't
in their coffin
it? Yeah, I think that's
waiting for the night.
where Scorsese got that great in Taxi Driver.
That's when,
That's-
CD,
Yeah, CD
seedy.
and a brilliant movie that reflected that time.
Son of Sam.
Yeah, exactly. There's a really good series as well called The Deuce. Have you seen it?
I saw it once or
Maggie
twice.
Gyllenhaal in it, about
Oh,
New York in
yeah.
the 70s, the sex
yes,
industry.
yes,
It's
yeah, yeah.
fantastic, man.
Yeah.
She's amazing in it. I really recommend watching it.
Yeah, that was like about the porn industry.
Yeah, I mean, it
yeah.
kind of went under the radar for a lot of people, and they didn't see it. It didn't get the recognition I think
No,
it
it
deserved.
didn't. It really
she was
There's a lot
brilliant
of
in it.
programming today. It's so hard to keep tabs with what's out there.
There's a lot streaming out there. You got to keep up.
There's some good stuff, but there's a lot of rubbish as well. You know, it's like I'm just waiting for a streaming platform that just has the good stuff. You know, it can filter all the rubbish for you. So your first album as a solo artist, was that very exciting? Was that was on Fania Records?
The first albums I did were all collaborations. At the beginning, I worked with Robert Redford. I did one record with him. Then I joined Willie Colon. I did 7 albums, but 5 with him, collaborations, and 1 that was my own, called Maestra Vida, which is part 1 and 2. But yeah, no, it was great it was a dream of mine when I was growing up to record. But I didn't think, it's a long story, but I never, my first choice was doo-wop.
Yeah.
You know, rock and doo-wop. That's what I started playing. I didn't start playing salsa music.
I remember hearing one of the tunes this morning. There was a doo-wop intro. I can't remember which track.
Esa Decisiones.
Yeah, like, and then it goes into the.
I did it on purpose.
The piano.
Just because I couldn't record anything that sounded English with Fania. Fania was just a Latin label. You know, my first and only English album I did in Electra Asylum with Bruce Lambo. At the time where I did Spanish music, but I also got the permission to do that record.
I mean, you ended up doing 40 albums to date, 7 live albums. That's
I
a
didn't even-
He does that
huge
almost every year.
amount of records.
Every year he's
I
pulling
didn't know.
one out.
I didn't know that.
40 albums. I counted them this morning.
Oh, wow.
and 7 live albums and multiple compilation albums. I mean, that's a huge.
We're still recording. I'm writing
recording.
right now the new one. Try to do once a year, if I could. But
Just one a year.
No, but I mean, when I was in government, I didn't do anything. 5 years, no albums. When I went to school again, Harvard, I didn't record. So you know, there's gaps.
Did you ever get to go to Cuba to make a record?
No, I wouldn't go there until the dictatorship goes away.
The regime goes.
I'm so sorry because I'd love to sing there, but not with those people in power.
Well, it might not be long before they go, but I personally, we won't get into it, but I don't think it's the way to do it.
No,
this
I
kind
agree.
of war of attrition, but starving
agree.
people. I don't
I
think you're going to
agree.
win them over by starving them.
No, I agree with you totally.
But there's other ways of doing things.
Sure.
And the change is due, but not that way.
I agree.
You know, but
I agree, but the problem that's the argument that I cannot make against the people that are in there.
yeah,
Because
sure.
I'm outside. I'm not the one with the mother that is sick and they can't go to the hospital. I'm not the one that needs a car to transport their, you know, it's the people in Venezuela, the same thing happened. It's like people want to get rid of stuff. I think there's a way to do it, but I'm not the one inside.
Yeah.
So when they argue with me about that, I don't have an argument back.
Yeah, I mean, I think change has got to come from within.
It has to.
You know, you can't
The way
bomb
it
them
should be.
into change. That just it's never worked historically.
Never.
You know, so we need to find other ways. Of
Sure.
course, you know, these people want freedom. Good luck to them, and I get it. But dropping a bomb on top of them doesn't work.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So you've won, I think it's 21 Grammy Award nominations.
25.
Winning 12 of them. I mean, this is just my stats
I
this
think
morning.
it's 25 now, 12 Latin and 13 American.
Do you ever look back and think, how did I do that?
Well, first of all, success
He
is
loses track of them too.
never one person.
Sure. That's fair to say.
There are people that are better than me. There are people that have more talent than I have and never got the opportunity. I don't know enough. She's graduated from music and everything. I'm not. So I was lucky enough that I had people who had talent and helped me get to where I am. So I know I have my talent as a writer and a musician or whatever, but I would have never gotten where I got in if I hadn't been helped by a lot of people. And I always think about that. So,
It's all about the gang, isn't it?
well, and also Yeah, about talent. I mean, I think about the people that haven't gotten the opportunities, you know, because there's always somebody better than you.
You have to have an eye for it, though, surrounding yourself with the right people.
And try to help
really
them.
Do. Yeah.
I try to help as many people as I can always. There's just, the boat can only hold X amount of people, or otherwise it drowns, it goes down. But I try to put in the boat as many people as I can.
I mean, I've seen you two together, and you're obviously incredibly tight. And you're going to laugh at this, but I've just finished listening to the Wings, you know, Paul McCartney Wings, Band on the Run. It's on, if you've got Spotify, the whole audiobook is on there.
Oh.
I really recommend listening. It's fantastic. But what's really the most wonderful thing about that story is Paul and Linda's relationship. I mean, but it's heartbreaking she's gone, because it was just so beautiful. And the whole Wings thing wouldn't have happened without Linda. I mean, it's a brilliant, I won't labour on this but too long, but it's a brilliant, you kind of remind me of Paul and Linda a little bit, you know.
Well, we're planning to do an album in the future too, speaking of helping somebody else.
But the energy, you know, from what I kind of, when reading the, listening to the audiobook, the kind of energy I was getting off listening to it, I was kind of, the love they had for each other, and I can see that between you two, without getting too gushy here, but that's also a huge strength, a super strength, you know, with that kind of support mechanism, you know. And
well, you know, first of all, relationships, we've been together now for a long time.
26?
Yeah.
Who's counting?
It's all about learning not to strangle the other person, or, you know, learning how to...
letting the other person do what they need to do.
And understanding
space.
them, though. You know, it's like everybody has their own time and their own things, their own little quibbles.
so just getting onto that for a minute, like what are the challenges and the pluses and minuses of being like a showbiz couple, for the lack of a better expression?
The difficulty, I think, the thing that I'm always very careful with is to understand that, you know, if, for instance, I think she should have all the Grammys in the world. So it's not, no matter how much you love each other and respect each other, you're both artists. You're competing. No matter, to a certain level, you're competing. So you have to be careful that whatever you're doing that is successful, it doesn't sound like you're rubbing it in the nose of the other person. You know? So I don't talk much about that stuff.
But the plus is also is you know the business. We know what it's about. There's a lot of being apart from each other, a lot of distance, a lot of late nights. You know, but you get it. If you're tired, you got to get up early for a movie shoot, or, you know, I'm doing 8 shows a week on Broadway. I have no time for him, and just the traveling and commitments.
And also understanding that you have somebody who's going to help you.
Yeah. That's the other thing, and you trust them. You trust that, you know, he is my toughest critic, but he's also my biggest fan.
Absolutely.
And I expect that from him. I want him to tell me if something really sucks, if it's bad, or when it's really good. He tells me.
Well, I can be
too.
wrong, but I'm saying I'll tell you what I think. This is the best I can do, is tell you what I think.
Yeah.
I'm just having a pal.
Yeah.
You know, having a pal is like, you know, because it's a tough business, you know, and everybody has an agenda. So once you get past that in a relationship, you know that that's your pal, you know, that's the person who has your back, you know,
absolutely.
like in your life. Before we continue, take a look at what's on your screen right now. If you caught our recent conversation with Aldo Meola, you'll love this. He teamed up with clearaudio on an exclusive collaboration, the Celebrity Aldo Meola Edition Turntable. This is where high-end audio engineering meets pure artistic identity. Designed in the shape of his iconic black Gibson Les Paul, it's not just visually striking, it's a true reflection of the connection between music and craftsmanship. clearaudio has been building world-class audio equipment in Germany since 1978, and everything they do is driven by precision, passion, and a relentless pursuit of analog perfection. This edition is limited to just 1,000 pieces and comes with a numbered special release album by Aldo Meola and a guitar pick, making it a true collector's item. If you care about sound design and the experience of music, this is another level. Check the link in the description to find out more. Is there an album of yours? I mean, I'll ask you both this, but is there an album of yours that, I mean, there's so many albums that really defined you the best, do you feel?
Oh, wow.
No.
No?
No, because I was always moving. I always was moving, and I like the collaborations I've done with so many people. I mean, there are moments that are very special for me. Working with people like Celia Cruz, Tito Puente, Ray Barreto, Willie Colon, the Funny Old Stars, Lou Reed. I mean, I sitting down and writing songs with Lou Reed in his house, you know, living with him for a couple of weeks. For some time.
I used to go out with his
Elvis
wife's sister,
Costello.
actually.
Oh, really?
In New York, that's another story.
But it's you know, it's just so many things. I mean, meeting Miles Davis, you know, I mean, playing with the jazz guys, Wynton Marsalis and the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra, Machito, Mario Bauzán. I mean, I've been blessed.
The Elvis Costello collaboration? Sorry, I cut over you when you mentioned
Was
Elvis
really
Costello.
great. I mean, Elvis was, I mean, he was the quickest. I mean, when I got up, I could hear the Elvis typing in the machine. In those days, we used a typewriter. I already put on the coffee, and I'll go in and drink a cup of coffee, sit down, and just let him type. And then I'll go and read what he wrote, and I said, there's nothing I can do here. He was so good. Fast and good. Unbelievable.
Your acting career, both of you. So what was your first break in acting? How did you get into acting? Did you set out to be an actor, or was it just something that fell into your...
My mother was a soap opera actress. But I never, in Panama, we didn't have any actors to look up to. So I wasn't thinking about it being an actor.
So one of the, I mean, you've worked with Robert Redford, he was directing.
I worked with a lot of people.
And also, so Robert Redford, that must have been huge to get that role?
Yeah, no, the funny thing is that Robert offered me the lead role, and I said no.
That was the Malago-Beanfield War.
And then I took another role. I took a supporting role. But yeah, it was a big deal. The thing about that is, and this is the same thing about fame. Fame has an impact on people, more, not necessarily on the person that is famous. So because Robert Redford came to me to offer me a job, all of a sudden people go like, oh, who's that guy?
How did he find you?
I don't know. I have no idea because I never had a manager. I'm very hard to find.
Good for you.
So, yeah, I kept it that way. The whole thing, there was a man, an Englishman, Clive Barnes. He was a New York critic. The second film I did, the first film I did was Jerry Masucci did a movie called, he was the owner of Fania Records, and he wanted to do a movie. He wanted to be a movie producer. So he did this film called The Last Fight. And I played a boxer who sang, so I could make an album. Willie Colon played the gangster manager. We did the movie, I saw the movie, I said, I'm never doing this again. And then a friend of mine, very, very talented director called Leon Ichazo, Cuban, very talented, did a movie called El Super, which I think is the best film I've ever seen.
Super.
El Super, but not the Pesci movie. This is El Super in Spanish. Best movie I've ever seen about immigrants in New York. Él and Manuel Arce. Then they convinced me to be in a movie called Crossover Dreams, which was the first film ever done with Latino actors, a Latino producer, Latino director, Latino cameraman, Latino script. And I said, I'm going to go in there, because we didn't have that many opportunities.
Sure.
And we were always playing drug addicts or drug dealers or maids or gardeners. So I said, we'll do this, play a musician. And that Clive Barnes gave it a really good review. And I think maybe Redford read that.
Amazing.
Oh, the other thing I have to remember to tell you is that there was an agent at the time that was the top agent in Hollywood. His name was Sam Cohn. He saw the movie, he saw the review. He saw the review and saw the movie. And then he sent for me. I was playing in a club. And he sent a guy, a man that when I saw him, I mean, he stuck out. He was the whitest man I've ever seen. and he had a black suit on, and he had black, I thought he was from the IRS or the FBI.
Well, they all look the same, these agents.
He stopped in the front, and he just stared at me the whole thing. It made me very nervous. And then, anyway, I went to see him. he got me on a meeting with Sam Cohn
Wow.
at the Russian Tea Room in New York. And I went in there and I sat down, and then he said, I want to represent you. And I said, why? You know, he said, no, I think you have talent and I want to represent you. And I said, I didn't know who he was. I didn't understand it.
Sure.
But I thought, okay,
Why not?
yeah. But I didn't take it seriously.
And you were working with Joe Pesci as well. I mean, I've got to ask you
I
about
did a
that.
movie with Joe Pesci called The
Super.
The Super, but that was
Yeah.
years later.
How was that? I mean,
With
I've got to
Pesci?
ask you. You know, Joe Pesci.
You know he sings
Is he as
jazz?
crazy as you think he
Yeah,
is?
he's a
Do you know
he's
he's
a
a
jazz fan.
jazz singer?
No, I didn't know that. Wow, good jazz singer.
I think, well, you know, again, it's,
I never heard him.
I did, but he's got his own way to sing and a voice, but I think Joe is super talented. I mean, it is a very interesting thing because I work with people and I've known people socially that some have said that are difficult people or crazy or whatever, and I never had problems with any of them. I get along with Joe very well. I mean, Joe has come to my house,
Wow.
slept in the house, you know.
You've worked with De Niro as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Robert
I
De
actually
Niro.
work with dopeYEAH, with De Niro, and with Joe.
Wow. I mean,
The
like,
trifecta.
for me, De Niro is the greatest living actor, probably the greatest actor of all time, in my view. And I'm a huge Scorsese
Right.
fan. I mean, that's huge. It's like,
Well, we knew each other because, I mean, in 1985, we played with Cesar Solar. We played at the Carnegie Hall, and it was a big deal. Carnegie Hall. Ooh. So we went to perform there. And at the time, I lived on 81st Street. And Christopher Walken, the actor, Chris Walken, lived a block away from me. And we were friends. But he didn't tell me he was going to the show. So we played. And then after the show, we were backstage and somebody came and said, very excited, like, oh, you got Chris Walken is out there. He's with Robert De Niro. And I said, well, tell him to come in. And they came in. And that's where I met him the first time. I met him 41 years ago. But we never worked together.
Christopher
Until
Walken,
now.
was that before or after The Deer
Milagro.
Hunter?
Huh?
Was that before or after The Deer Hunter?
That was
after.
85, just around that, I think after.
It was
Yeah.
after.
After,
So
yeah.
he was a huge actor at that
Oh, yeah.
point. Yeah, massive.
No,
superstar.
and he was playing Broadway, and you know he's a cook.
Yeah, I've
Chris.
heard. Yeah.
No, I know for a fact.
And a
'cause
tap dancer.
I was going to say, isn't he a great tap? He did a video, didn't he? I think it was Fatboy Slim or
Did
some
you
actor.
see him in,
Yeah,
what's
some
the name?
Singer,
The
sorry.
Pennies from Heaven.
Yeah. He was in the American Dance Machine, which is a company that I was in. It was like the first job that I had out of college. But Chris was like a part of that company. And so, I mean, I always knew he was this great hoofer. But,
You know, Steve Gadd was a tap dancer as well.
oh, really?
Yeah, he put that on a
that's
kid. Him and
funny.
his brother
Well,
learned
that
how to
makes
tap
sense
dance.
because
yeah.
of the rhythmic
The
thing.
drumming, yeah.
'Cause tap is tough.
But he was, he's a cook. He's a painter. He's a great guy. I love him dearly. And he's very eccentric. He doesn't have a cell phone, and he doesn't have a computer.
We've had Al Di Meola on the show. You know Al?
Yeah.
He's a
yeah.
cook as well. He loves to cook. He actually cooked for us here. He does this whole thing in New York where he has people who come and pay to come and he'll play music and he'll cook for them. It's
good for him.
It's brilliant. It's really good fun.
It's brilliant.
He's a really good cook and a brilliant guy as well.
Really?
Italian, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. We ended up talking about jazz for 3 hours. We went on for it was like it's the longest podcast I think we've done. We just couldn't shut up, and it's like I'd done a massive deep dive into jazz, and Al was just amazing. He's a
I
wonderful guy.
saw him in Hong Kong. I met Al in Hong Kong when he was playing with my dear friend Paco de Lucia
Yeah,
and
of course.
McLaughlin. The three of them were John. The three of them were going on a tour, and that's why I met him first.
And we just saw him
We
in
just saw him in.
Carnegie Hall, I think
We saw him
was.
at Carnegie
Yeah.
Hall when they were doing
They had a whole
the Paco de Lucia
flamenco thing.
flamenco night.
Yeah, flamenco.
You know
night there.
Josele, Niño Josele?
Yeah, sure.
I'm working. Actually, I did something with Niño Josele and Ron Carter.
Oh, amazing.
Niño's playing the guitar, I'm singing, and Ron is playing bass, and Fernando Trueba filmed it. Should be coming out maybe this year.
We should try and do something at Abbey Road Studios. I'm still, very much in with
Just to
everybody
cross
there.
the street and get a picture.
Yeah,
you
they
And
get
piss off all the car people.
Get you in Studio 2 making a record, man, and more like it. So, I mean, the new Latin breed of artists coming through, like Bad Bunny, what's your opinion on that?
Good. I mean, I met him many years ago. I know his mom and his dad. He brought him to a show I did in Puerto Rico for his dad's birthday about 7 years ago. So, and I sang with him in Puerto Rico when he was doing the residency there. I think it's great that, first of all, every generation is going to have their own way of saying things. I'm not like one of those old guys who are going to go like, no, things were better in my time. It's like, everybody now I have my own taste. I listen to what I like. I don't listen necessarily to what other people tell me to listen to. So, but I think it's fine, and I God bless him. I mean, he's the biggest thing there is right now.
He's number one often, and I think today I looked, he's number 5 in the world on Spotify, but he's often number 1 artist in the world on
Yeah,
Spotify.
and also
Just the whole profile of Latins it's so great.
And he's doing
So
things for
good.
Puerto Rico, so elevating the self-esteem, making kids know, okay, we can do these things. So as long as and I think his family, his mom and his dad,
Keep him grounded.
will keep him grounded. So as long as that happens and he saves his money and he does positive things,
It's a lot of money.
that's fine. Yeah.
So you got into politics as well, obviously, and you, the first lady here, but into running for president. What was the push behind that? Why did you feel you needed to make changes?
Act of self-defense. I mean, politicians are crooks, and many of them, not all of them. People go to politics to serve themselves, not to serve the country. I'm tired of criticizing and bitching about stuff. I said, we got to get involved.
Good for
So
you.
we got involved and created a political party from scratch. I did not want to run. I didn't think we were ready. But I had to run because if I hadn't run, then the party would have extinguished itself with no votes. So I ran, and we gave the corruption a run for their money.
Would you ever think of running again?
I'm too old now, probably, but I would not stop because I'm helping now younger people. Juan Diego Vázquez, a group from Panama called Vamos.
Sure.
I campaigned for them last time. We elected 20 new senators, diputados. So, we have to keep on trying to change that which we criticize. It's like not enough to just criticize. You have to get involved.
Yeah, you have to get
And
involved.
I got involved in politics because of that. It's all nonsense about, oh no, I ask people, I say, why don't you get involved in politics? And the answer I most get is, politics is shit. And I go, yeah, because of those people. Why don't you get involved and change it? Mm-hmm. And then they say, no, because corruption. I said, you don't corrupt. Power doesn't corrupt you as far as I'm concerned. It unmasks you. It shows who you are.
Sure.
So if you can get power, how are you going to change things if it's not through power? With a song? Song can help you make people aware of that, but that's not what's going to change it. You're going to change it through the election, or you're going to change it through armed revolt. Which of the two?
Sure.
So, but you cannot let the situation stay. In my view, I chose elections. I chose the Pacific way. Try to do create awareness.
And you became the Minister of Tourism for a while. Was that an interesting experience? A good, bad experience, or did you enjoy it?
It was great.
Well,
It was tough for her.
You were,
Luba, come on.
No,
Spill the beans.
Well, we were apart. We were apart quite a bit. We were visiting each other kind of every 5 weeks, and it was tough on you. It was very tough.
It was very difficult, but
very frustrating for him.
Yeah, but again, I can look at anybody in this room right now in the eye and say, I was 5 years in government, I didn't steal one nickel. I was 5 years in government, I didn't do movies, I didn't do tours. I did one tour with the permission of the government to bring publicity to Panama. One. I didn't write songs, I didn't do albums. I stopped what I was doing. To do what? To help try to help my country and help my people. Instead of talking, that's what I did. So now I can say, yes, you can do. I was 5 years in government. Did I come out corrupt? No. When we came out, we had to sell the house.
Wow.
You know, I mean, because I had to spend my money holding up because my money was coming from my income as a musician and as an actor. But do I complain about that? No. No, not at all. One of the best things I ever did in my life is that.
Good for you. You're
But
very
you
proud
have to
of
get involved, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to kids and people who are listening. People bitch, they write, they criticize. Okay, get involved.
it. You can change things.
Yeah.
Yes.
People don't even vote. I mean, it's
Yes,
terrible.
but you have to
Oh.
get involved. Get involved.
Just getting on to, I was just reading about the Monroe Doctrine this morning again. You know, it just came up somehow, and then I started reading about it, and that whole kind of that South America is just part of America's sphere of influence now. How do you feel about that?
Well, the thing is, you have to look at what is correct, and you have to look at reality. Every single power, whether it is China, Russia, or the United States, is going to consider of geographic importance the areas that surround its power. So no matter what you do or what you say or how legal or illegal or ideal or not the position is, it's a reality. It's a reality that you have to deal with. The problem I see in Latin America is that we tend to blame the United States for everything that happens. But the corruption that we have in our countries, we brought it in. And we have to deal with that internally. So then you can stop to the imperial power and say, you're not going to do this here.
Sure.
But if you're corrupt from the inside, where is the power to tell somebody, no, you can't do this? So we're right now in Latin America. Look what's happening in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Venezuela right now is a U.S. protectorate. That's what it is. With the help of the so-called left or so-called communists, they're no longer what they said they were. They changed like this.
Sure.
You know, in Cuba, like you said, and I've always been against blockades because it hurts the people. It doesn't hurt the regime, it hurts the people. But you think by now, after 60-something years, you couldn't have a free election or you couldn't have like call and try, let's work this out internally. Forget the U.S.
Sure.
Internally. They don't do that. Why don't they do that? You know, why do we have military regimes in Latin America, like in Central America, that kill archbishops at 12 o'clock in the day, or killed 1,000 persons a week and cut their heads and leave them out so people can see what they're doing? You know, why do we have, who does that? The Martians? No. The gringos? No. The communists? No. We do it. So we have to change internally. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I keep on talking about this and writing, because we have to change ourselves. If we want change, we begin with ourselves. We have to change and become really, we earn the right to call an imperial power and say, you cannot do that here. You know, so, but the fact that they're going to continue the Monroe Doctrine, even though it was quiet for a while, it was always on.
Yeah, sure.
It was always on. And the Russia, you think that the whole thing that's happening with Ukraine, you think that they're going to stop? They want to stop there? You know, they're like seeing how far they can get.
Well, they're all carving up the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Look, when in Prague, I remember Prague from '68. You know, when the tanks came. I mean,
Sure.
I was in law school, and I remember that I went out, and the invasion of Santo Domingo by the North Americans had happened that same year. And there were a lot of pamphlets going on. And when I went out and they invaded Czechoslovakia, I went over to the guys to the left. I said, "Where are the pamphlets?" "What pamphlets, compañero?" The pamphlets about Czechoslovakia. Why don't you give me one saying, "Oh no, they asked us to go in"? I said, "Oh, they did? Oh, wow." You know?
I think what's interesting about the Czech Republic is that it just decided it wasn't taking it anymore. You know,
Yes.
the Velvet Rebel. It just said, nah, mate, nah, this is done. You can go now. We've had enough. Sod off. We're going to, you know, and that was it. They just down tools and said, we're not having this anymore.
And who did that? The people.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They just decided no more. And, you know, that's the power of the people. They can just decide to say no
Absolutely.
more. And do it peacefully without a shot literally being fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite amazing.
That no fire shot and nobody died defending the system. This is the other thing. I mean, you went to sleep on Saturday when Gorbachev and the Berlin Wall, they went to sleep Saturday. Friday, communism. Monday, gone. And
I don't think Gorbachev gets enough credit for that.
I agree.
You know, just getting back to the music, a lot of our fans on the show, they sort of, a lot of rock fans, and but like Latin music. If you could recommend 4 Latin artists, and maybe 4 tunes of those Latin artists for them to listen to, what would you recommend they listen to really understand, excuse me, you know, Cuban music, salsa music?
well, okay, but Cuban music and salsa music are 2 different things.
Sure.
With the salsa, I would say Eddie Palmieri. But I mean, there's so many songs that I can recommend.
I know this is a tough one, but
Yeah, I'd say Muñeca, Eddie Palmieri, Willie Colón, Héctor Lavoe, Juana Peña, Rey Barreto, I would say El Hijo de Guatalá with Tito Allen. And I mean, I'm leaving too many people out. I'd say Tito Puente has to be there,
of course.
you know, with Santito Colón, anything. And as far as what else? There's 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's more than enough.
And Cuban, I mean, please, you have Los Bambam. Fernando Alvarez, I would say boleros, you have to listen to boleros. Fernando Alvarez. Iraquere, you have to listen. Iraquere, which is like Latin jazz. And then there's so many. Pedrito Martinez, I say Pedrito Martinez, drummer, tremendous group.
I mean, for me, one of my great joys is just being in my back garden listening to, you know, to Cuban music and with a glass of rum and pineapple juice. Honestly,
How about a cigar?
I don't smoke, but it's joyful. I think the thing I love about Latin music is there's so much joy in it. You know, it just transcends everything. Yeah,
too.
There's something else that I have to say. I'm so sorry, I'm talking too much. Luba.
No.
You know, I have her sit next to me because she has long legs. And when I'm talking, I said, if I'm talking too much, just kick me. So she hasn't done it because she humors me. But before I forget, this is important about salsa music. And I would say this to everybody, no matter where you are in the world. We're creating right now a society that is alienating itself more and more and more. The children, I watch kids, they got their phones. 6, 7-year-olds, they're like this.
Oh, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 4 or 5 years. They're eating, their parents, and they're like this. I don't know how it is in the house. When I grew up, there weren't even credit cards. So right now, in the middle of this alienation, where people don't even go to the movies anymore. You look at the movies at home because of it's too expensive, the popcorn, the parking. Salsa music allows complete strangers, people that maybe don't agree politically, different race, different religion, different nationality, different age, meet in a common ground, a dancing club. And these strangers meet through music. They touch each other, because they have to dance together, which is what life is. We live together, we dance together. And you have to dance together. It doesn't matter if you're pretty, ugly, how you dress. Do you know how to dance? Can you dance? Do you want to dance? Pop. That's gone. Today, rock and one is dancing over here and the other one is like a mile away going like this. Everybody's in their own thing. Salsa is like this.
The club Palladium in New York City was the beginning and the center of that. In what year was that? In the
50s.
50s. in the 50s.
Desegregation. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. You see kids, they're so disconnected from each other. And that's technology companies. I don't blame the kids. You know, they're just being brainwashed with these, these devices. I mean, a simpler time when we were growing up, when, even when I grew up in Dublin, we had nothing, and there was issues in our family I wouldn't go into, but the one thing we did do sometimes was just push back the furniture and have sing-songs in the house, And I really loved, that was when we were at our most happy. There was other times we weren't, and there's a lot of other stuff. But that was when we were happy, that connection with music. Or I used to go to sessions with my father, which is just like loads of musicians in a pub playing music together, barons, mandolins, everything, fiddles, all in there.
That's what brought you to music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I didn't listen to any pop music till I was about 12. I was a bit of an oddball kid. All I listened to was Irish traditional music, and then I discovered Led Zeppelin. But up until that point, I didn't listen to any pop music.
Now, before I forget, as far as I know, the only version of Danny Boy ever recorded.
One of my favorite songs of all time, by the way.
With Q and drumming, Luba sang it.
Oh, amazing.
It's
and
in
I
the
wasn't
Mundo
supposed
album.
to. It was in Rubén's key. I happened to be with him in Costa Rica recording that album, Mundo. And he recorded Danny Boy, and he came back to the room and he goes, it's just not right. It's just not right.
I wanted a woman to be involved.
I need a woman in this album or something. And he looked at me and he goes, you think you could sing this? And he gave me the recording. It was in his key.
It's a dreadfully sad song.
But it's so beautiful.
Like, it's amazing. It's one of my favorites. But the lyrics are heartbreaking.
Yes.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's about a father letting his son go off to war, and it's like he's probably never going to see him again. It's just so...
And I felt a woman was singing it. Listen to it if you haven't.
Yes, I did. I listened to it this morning.
Mundo.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was when you listening to you sing it this morning, I was thinking of, there's another song I think you do an amazing job of his She Moves Through the Fair, or He Moves Through the Fair. It's an Irish ballad as well. I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah.
In fact, Sinead O'Connor does an incredible version of it with the Chieftains, who are a big Irish group. I'll send you a link.
I used to be friends with Patty.
Oh,
God bless him.
We saw him in New York, too.
He taught one of my best friends, Johnny Logan, who won the Eurovision Song Contest 3 times anyway. He taught him how to play the guitar, but I never met him myself. But that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, I've been with them before.
They're incredible musicians. Most of them are gone now.
One of the things we're going to be doing something. I mean, it's one of those things, you're going to do something and we talk about it and we don't move on it, and then time goes by.
If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love if you could let us know by liking, commenting, or by sharing. Thanks so much. So what's next, Ruben, for both of you?
We're doing a movie together, actually.
Fantastic. What is it?
With Antonio Banderas.
Who's he? No, I'm joking.
What is it called? Armadillo.
It's called Armadillo United. It's about soccer.
Fantastic. Well, I love football. Come on.
Yeah,
and it's about children.
A young 12-year-old prodigy, boy.
Amazing.
And so it's definitely for the younger market, but
It's going to be really fun.
Where are you going to film it?
In Austin, Texas.
Oh, wow. Because one of my best buddies is Petr Cech. We've had him on the show, one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, played for Arsenal, for Chelsea. I mean, I love football. I mean, we got him on the show, I was he
Manchester
plays drums.
United with Ferguson, though. The old days when this guy didn't have any hair.
Do you like football? Are you a football fan?
I sort of learned after the fact, because I always played baseball and basketball, but now I am.
I love it.
Yeah, Petr is he's an amazing, still looks great and all that, looks after himself. But he actually started out wanting to be an ice hockey player because he's Czech.
Yeah.
And Petr Cech.
Actually, if you see, I hope Guardiola, if you see this show, I want to talk to you because I'm playing. He's Pep. He's like Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
But I'm playing a coach. And I want to talk to you about it, if you see the show.
You mean the Man City manager? Is it Pep Guardiola?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's now with Manchester City, right?
He's Man City.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could ask, I'm pretty sure Petr Cech would know him, so I could hook you up
that would be great,
through Petr.
It would be great only because we're playing with children.
Sure.
And a lot of times they don't understand the scope of their fans. It would be, Luba just did something with Lin-Manuel Miranda, the playwright, and did a video with him for Panama. And all of a sudden, everybody in Panama goes, oh my God, if I get a video with Pep for the kids, and also because I'm playing my role in the movie is I'm the coach.
Fantastic.
and I don't know enough. So
Well, I know a lot of people in that world, so I can
That'd be
help out.
great.
Oh,
I'd be
wow.
love to.
we have several Cafu. We have several players. Marcelo, that are going to be involved in the film.
Got a guest, yeah. He's
From
got a guest
Marcelo,
spot.
that just retired from Real Madrid.
Because even just through Petr Cech, he knows everybody.
Oh,
and he's
I know who
loved, you know, he'll get you in to see everybody.
That would be great.
You know, and he's a beautiful man. He's like a really good bloke and a good drummer as well, decent drummer. We've had him play drums here.
Oh, wow.
You know, because he loves playing the drums. So he's a musician as well, and you're coming to London at some point, aren't you?
We are going to play at the round.
Well, let's try and meet up. I'll bring him along to meet him, and then we can take it from there.
But you know
Take him to the
something,
show and he can
also
meet him
make sure that
personally.
I give you my information so you go there and you come to the show as a guest.
Fantastic.
I also wanted to mention that I just recorded an album for my one-woman show
What's
that
it called?
I've written. It's called Love, Luba. And it's about, it's the story of a late bloomer's coming of age.
Oh.
It's a musical memoir.
Fantastic. Are you playing on the record? Or do you,
No.
No,
You always kept your music separate.
we have so far. We've
Sometimes.
done some duets, though.
I went once with her, she had her own group, and I was employed, and I slept with the boss, and we were on tour.
Naughty. Well, listen, I know you guys have got things to be getting on with. We've got to eat something. I'm starving. I don't know about you guys, but it's just been fantastic to have you both
Thank you,
on the
everybody.
show. And,
Thank you for having us.
and thank you, my friend.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Ruben.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
both for fantastic.